So, Senator Hanson, how's it been in coming to Victoria? How are you enjoying your time in Victoria?
Oh, look, it's been fantastic. Ever since I actually got off the plane, the people saying, hanging out the car door, saying, thank you, we absolutely love you, thank you for coming to Victoria, save us from Dictator Dan. It's all these messages. People are fed up, they're over politicians.
Hey guys, Rukshan here. I'm just on my way to Warragul from Shepparton area. I was actually in Benalla as well before, and that's because I've been following around the One Nation candidates here in Victoria for the federal election as they're touring with Pauline Hanson, Senator Hanson, who's come down from Queensland, and they're just out there talking with the community about their platform for this election, and I just wanted to see what they had to say. I got a chance as well to speak to Senator Hanson, as well as some of the locals who have come out to see them. So this is what they had to say.
Definitely the four major parties last, so Nationals, Liberal, Labor, Greens, they're all going last, and any freedom-friendly minor party will be at the top.
What's majorslast.com?
Majorslast.com is a great website to get you to make your own how to vote cards, and it automatically puts the majors last where they belong.
Let's get the website here, guys. majorslast.com.
We're losing our sovereignty, we're losing our rights, and we've only just seen this recently with COVID and how you've been dealt with. You've been dealt a bloody hard blow here in Victoria with Daniel Andrews. How you've been treated has been absolutely disgusting.
Are you members, or are you just here to see what's happening?
Just to come and see the support that kind of aligns with what I believe in, and I know what Claire believes in.
This is, for me, the first time in my life I've ever taken an interest in politics. I've been researching what the different parties actually stand for and which of their values align with mine, and it's very, very clear that the major parties have a lot to be concerned about this time around.
Every one of our candidates is an authentic, genuine person. Not one of us ever intended to be a politician, and we all come from a place of true authenticity.
So, ma'am, you must have seen many elections over your lifetime, and we're at a time in Australia where we've gone through a lot over the past 2 years. How do you feel about the state of the country, and do you think elections make a difference?
I think elections, if they're run correctly with integrity, they should make a difference. Everyone has a right to their opinion and their say and their choices, who they elect, but we have to be very, very careful who we are voting for this election. I think it's critically important.
Governments are there to adhere to the rule of law, the Constitution, and the economic stability of the nation. They have to get out of business telling people how to run their lives and their businesses. They're not doing the job they were supposed to do.
So, as a young Australian family with a newborn, how do you feel about the state of the country and where things are going, and what's your feelings about this election, and how are you thinking about what's happening?
So, well, especially when I got pregnant and all this was sort of starting to amp up a bit more, we got really scared about bringing a baby into the world and what was going to happen, and especially being unvaccinated and how we'd been treated. We weren't sure even how he was going to be treated, how the birth was going to go, and we still have fears now about how he's going to grow up and bring him into this world. But I'm quite excited for the election. I think a lot more people have changed their minds now, and they probably understand the voting system a bit better. A bit more open-minded, I think, and it's really opened up a lot of people's eyes.
So more excited than scared now, because we want to make sure that as a family we're building, at least trying to build the world that we want him to live in, not being scared of being treated different because of personal medical choices that we make or he makes. We want to make the best world for him to grow up in and prosper.
Realise is that as federal members of parliament, we don't have to have the shot to do our jobs. We don't. So why are we forcing you to have it? Not me. Why are they forcing you?
much. And Ricky, how are you feeling about the election and just in general how the country is going? And what are your plans with One Nation?
We're really excited. The response from the locals, from our the constituents of the seats, has been incredible. There's a lot of support. There's also a lot of people that are coming to us with the same look on their face. It's like somebody's lifted a sheet off them and they've seen colour for the first time. They're like, I didn't realise what was going on, but now I'm really paying attention. I haven't voted before and I'm enrolled to vote now, and I've always voted for the majors, but I'm not doing that anymore. So it's going to be an interesting election.
I think COVID's opened a lot of people's eyes as to what's been happening politically, and hopefully that there's enough information out there that people know who to vote for, like Pauline Hanson and all that. They're out there fighting for our freedoms, and I lost my job, so she's fighting, for everybody and anybody.
I'm a mum. I'm a business owner. I'm a wife. So politics just sort of fell into my lap, or I fell into politics. I'm running for Greg Hunt's seat.
I have stood my ground with this for the last 2 years, since it first came out. I've never changed my views, my attitude. They tried to suppress me in my interviews, and I stood up for what I believed in. I have again been proven right with a lot of these issues. I have been pushing for a royal commission into the COVID mandates that have been forced on the people with these vaccinations. A lot of people have had adverse side effects, and yet they're still saying you've got to have your 3rd dose, your 4th dose, your 5th. When is it going to finish? People have a right to say no. And just because you say no doesn't mean to say that you should lose your job.
And a lot of the major political parties, a lot of the mainstream media, they spend a lot of time scaremongering and talking about minor parties and independents, saying that the vote for those parties is dangerous or it won't make a difference or you're wasting your vote. You're someone that's been in Parliament for a long time now, as a minor party, let's say, and what effect have you had and as a member of Parliament, and what message do you have to voters that are going into the polling booths when they're deciding to vote for these minor parties and independents like One Nation, for instance?
So you see, that is fearmongering by the major political parties, because they are truly in fear, because there's an underground swell of support that people are saying out there, put the majors last, they're fed up with it, they're looking at minor parties and independents to actually vote for. Isn't it funny that I had a minister tell me on the floor of Parliament, she said, it's been really good working with you. We put up legislation, we believe it's good, but you make our legislation better, because I bring to them issues that the Australian people brought to me. We do our research. We're not governed by advisors or bureaucrats. We actually put forward good policy, good solution to improve that legislation. So that's just fearmongering by the major political parties. And it's a shame too, because we have actually been elected by the people and have a right to be on the floor of Parliament to represent the Australian people. But they feel it's just a duopoly in this country. It's just between the Liberal and Labor. Well, I've got news for them. The people have had a gutful, they've had enough of them, and they want change. Well, hopefully you will be able to get it at this election, because I promise you that under One Nation, I will be there without fear or favour. I will stand up and fight for you. I will represent your needs and concerns, and I will bring these issues to the floor of Parliament and to whoever is in government.
So more so than any time in history, I've noticed people are now taking proactive steps to learn about the governance of this country. They're really taking an interest in how we can affect change, which is just fantastic to see.
Very unhappy with the current government, and I really hope everyone remembers to put the majors last, because they've been doing some stuff to make sure that, if at least one will get in, and we don't want that. We need life to be, we need to be free, we need to live our own lives, and the government get out of our life and stop controlling us.
I'm not happy about our country, not happy about the corruption, I'm not happy about our hospital system.
A lot of my policies over the years, even starting with John Howard, picked up a lot of my policies. Who do you think the first one that said turn the votes around?
It has been a great battle for One Nation in Victoria. If I go back to 25 years ago, we had protest rallies against us and it was just bedlam on the streets in Melbourne for One Nation, trying to get the message out. The problem was that the media misreported my message to the people, and you, the people, had a misconception of what I stood for. And now, after the years have passed, a lot of people now are understanding my message. My message hasn't changed. The whole thing about climate change, and I'll tell you now straight from the horse's mouth, it's a load of BS. I want to know why we're headed down this path of 2050 net zero, destroying our economy, forcing extra higher prices on not only the households, but on businesses, industry, manufacturing. I can go on and talk about the housing. That's another stupid policy of the Labor Party. 40% into equity in your home. To me, you know what that sounds like? It sounds like socialism and communism. Remember, Klaus Schwab said, the executive chairman of the World Economic Forum, you know what he said? You'll own nothing and you'll be happy.
And as far as saving Victoria from Dictator Dan, you have a field of candidates running in the federal election this time. Will that make a difference for people in Victoria?
Most definitely. We didn't have this number of candidates anywhere near at the last election, but I think it's important so people can actually vote for One Nation. You know, I'm a down-to-earth grassroots party that is standing up for people's rights and, you know, for their jobs, security, just everything, the future generations. And it's important, and I've proven that on the floor of Parliament for the last 6 years that I've been in there with my other colleague, Malcolm Roberts. And we take the voters, you know, seriously. We don't take them for granted as major political parties have, and there's been too much government overreach.
My name's Warren Pickering and I am the Pauline Hanson One Nation Party Senate candidate for Victoria. So the distinction for One Nation Party amongst the other freedom parties, we do advocate for all freedom parties as our preferences show, obviously. I think there's a clear distinction in that we have been around a long time and we are a very reputable party. A lot of people have left the majors realising they're very left-leaning and they're subject to the wings of the vocal minorities, whereas One Nation is realistically the last bastion of true conservatism, and if you don't believe that, you need to have a look at our policies.
I'm Ursula Bambree. I'm running for the seat of Scullin, which is in the north of Melbourne, and I am a single mother, truck driver by profession, and basically I'm running for Pauline Hanson's One Nation because I can't stand the path the country's heading in.
G'day, I'm Chris Bradbury. My background is telecommunications and then aviation. I'm running for One Nation as a candidate in McEwen because I believe in the morality that Pauline Hanson and her policies have been consistent with ever since the start of her campaigns back in the mid to late 90s. So for 25 years, Pauline's been on about the same thing. It's been about Australia for Australians and looking after our country first and foremost, because at the end of the day, charity begins at home.
My name is Boris Zakaransky. I'm One Nation candidate for Isaacs. And One Nation, as we can see today, is attracting more and more people who actually care about the future of this nation.
Hi, I'm Greg Hansford. I'm your One Nation candidate for Gippsland. Gippsland is a very safe National Party seat. It's been held since 1908, so I'm going to give the sitting member a bit of a go and see if I can't unseat him. People are tired of the same old governments, the same old rhetoric that's coming out of them, so it's time for a fresh change. I'm standing up and I'm offering myself to the voters to bring about a change, real change to Victoria.
Get the website here, guys, mayorslast.com.